and this is Becky's Homestead. In this episode, we'll be talking about clearing land and what tools you'll need to do it in an inexpensive way. A lot of homesteaders get a piece of property that needs to be cleared. So we'll be showing you one way of doing that. Let's go. Clearing is not as difficult as you might think, at least in our area. Surprisingly, when you get out here and you look, a lot of the stuff that you need to clear is like little brushy stuff that's down below and in between the trees. And just a good pair of keep them really sharp, a good pair of snips, or I don't know, loppers, I guess you could call these, works really, really well. Another thing I do with the loppers is I cut off all the low branches so you can get in there and get a good look around it, which trees you would like to keep and which trees you would like to thin out. It helps if you cut all the low branches off and then you can look at them. Another tool that we use that's very effective, and this is the part my husband does. This is like what he starts doing is he'll take the machete and he'll go in there and just get everything out of the way so we can get in there and start lopping things off. And then thirdly, after we have had a good look around and we see which trees we want to thin out, really my husband just uses a plain old-fashioned axe, which I keep really, really sharp for him. So surprisingly, when it's really sharp, it's quite effective and it doesn't take him long at all to cut a tree down. Another thing I wanted to point out is once we do get to the point of selecting which trees we want to thin out, how I do that, because I've never done it before, is I look up and I like to keep the canopies of the trees touching. So you thin out enough to where the big canopies touch and the squirrels can still jump from tree to tree. That's what I've been doing. That way you still have really good shade, but yet the trees aren't cluttered together on the ground. And then the final step that we do is we throw all the brush and logs and little trees into a safe place to burn them. We always make sure that there's nothing around that could spread, the fire could spread to, and we do not leave the fire unattended. We stay with the lit fire at all times and put it out thoroughly. And depending on where you live, you might need to call the fire department and get permission to burn. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I have a suggestion. Keep all your tools sharp. It'll make things easier. And now we're going to go to our mailbox, and we have a letter from Betty and Alan from Oklahoma. And they wrote and said they bought their homestead and are starting from scratch. Well, Betty and Alan, take things slow bit by bit. Write down your goals and then develop an action plan. If you have a question, please feel free to email me. Happy homesteading. Bye-bye. It's going a little too low. I can see it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's great.